Urologist, if you don't masturbate in old age, this will happen to you. Picture a man in his late 60s, alone, motionless in his chair. No cry for help, no sign of struggle, just silence. The report says natural causes, but the truth is more insidious. It's not illness that took him, it's neglect. A quiet, creeping loss of vitality that thousands of men over 60 face every year, not from age, but from a choice they didn't know could harm them, giving up masturbation. I'm Dr. Dave, a urologist with 35 years of experience helping men stay strong, vibrant, and confident well into their 70s and beyond. Today, I'm shattering the silence on a topic society buries, but your health demands we confront. Stopping masturbation after 60 doesn't just pause your body. It triggers a cascade of consequences that can steal your sexual function hormones, prostate health, and even your emotional spark. In this video, I'll reveal 4 critical health risks you face when you abandon this natural act and the simple science-backed steps to protect yourself. Stay until the end because the final risk is one most doctors avoid, yet it could silently triple your chance of life-altering complications. Type 1 in the comments if you're ready to take control, or 0 if you're skeptical. This is your health, your life, your truth. Let's dive in. Consequence 1, the silent shutdown of sexual function. Let's start with a truth that hits hard, the slow, silent loss of sexual function. I've sat with men in their late 60s and early 70s, their voices trembling as they confess, "Doc, I haven't had an erection in months. It just vanished." They're not talking about impressing a partner. They're mourning a part of themselves that's gone quiet. The shock isn't just the loss, it's how sudden it feels. One day they're themselves, the next something vital is gone. Here's why your penis isn't just a symbol of masculinity, it's a living organ that needs regular use to stay healthy. After 60, if you stop all sexual activity, including masturbation, blood flow to the penile tissues slows dramatically. Oxygen delivery drops, smooth muscles that support erections begin to stiffen, not in a good way, but in a way that leads to fibrosis, scar tissue that chokes off nerves and blood vessels. This is basic vascular biology, not guesswork. Imagine if you stopped using your legs for a year. Your muscles would waste away, your joints would lock up, and walking would feel impossible. The same happens to your penis. Without stimulation, it doesn't just go dormant, it starts shutting down. Morning erections fade. Physical touch or fantasies lose their spark. Over time, even medications like Viagra or Cialis may fail because the foundation healthy tissue-active nerves has eroded. I've seen men in my office eyes welling up asking, "Can I get it back?" Some can with aggressive therapy medications, lifestyle changes, even penile rehabilitation programs. But others wait too long. They thought stopping masturbation was a sign of discipline maturity or simply moving on. In reality, it was the first step in a silent, irreversible decline. The tragedy is how preventable this is. Regular masturbation once or twice a week keeps blood flowing, nerves firing, and tissues elastic. It's not about chasing pleasure, it's about maintenance, like exercising to keep your heart strong. Neglect this, and you're not just risking erections, you're risking your confidence, your identity, and your connection to yourself as a man. This isn't about being a Casanova in your 70s. It's about preserving a critical part of your circulatory system and your masculine vitality. Let's move to the next consequence, one that strikes deeper than you might expect. Consequence 2, the hormone crash that robs your drive. The second consequence is less visible, but just as devastating: a crash in your hormones. I've had patients, retired, Cops, teachers, grandfathers come to me saying they don't feel like themselves anymore. They're exhausted even after sleeping. They skip their morning hikes, lose interest in golf or fishing, and snap at their families for no reason. They blame age stress or a bad week. But when we test their testosterone, the numbers tell a different story. They're running on fumes. Testosterone isn't just about muscles or libido. It's the fuel for your energy, focus, and sense of purpose. After 60, your levels naturally decline, but stopping all sexual activity, including masturbation, accelerates that drop. Why arousal and release trigger your brain's hypothalamus to signal testosterone production. Dopamine spikes your testicles, get the message. And even in your 70s, your body keeps producing hormones. It's one of the few natural, non-pharmaceutical ways to support testosterone without costly injections or gels. But when you go months without stimulation, your body assumes intimacy is no longer needed. Hormone production slows. The effects ripple outward. Weaker muscles, brittle bones, foggy thinking, and a higher risk of depression. Worse, low testosterone increases your odds of cardiovascular issues, heart attacks, and strokes, the leading killers of men over 60. I had a patient, a 68-year-old mechanic, tell me, "Doc, I feel like I'm fading away." He wasn't sick, he was hormonally depleted, and it started when he stopped masturbation, thinking it was behind him. The fix is simpler than you might think. Regular masturbation, even once a week, keeps your hormonal rhythm steady. It boosts dopamine and endorphins, lifting your mood and sharpening your focus. Pair it with strength training, a diet rich in protein and healthy fats and quality sleep, and you can preserve your drive well into your later years. Ignore this, and the next consequence might hit you where it physically hurts. This isn't about clinging to youth, it's about holding on to the fire that makes you you. Let's talk about an organ that needs your attention more than ever in older age. Consequence 3. Prostate congestion and the pain you can't ignore. Now let's talk about your prostate, a small gland that can cause big trouble if neglected. I've seen men in their 60s and 70s come to my office with a nagging ache in their pelvis, a weak urine stream, or the constant urge to pee waking them up at 2 a.m. They think it's a bladder issue or just getting old, but more often than not, it's their prostate crying out for help. Your prostate produces seminal fluid, and that fluid is meant to move. Regular ejaculation through sex or masturbation flushes it out, keeping the gland healthy and functional. When you stop entirely, that fluid sits, thickens, and causes congestion. Pressure builds. Inflammation creeps in. You start feeling discomfort when you sit, pain in your lower back, or that relentless need to urinate even when your bladder's empty. I had a patient, a 69-year-old retiree, who hadn't ejaculated in over 2 years. He thought it was behind him. He came in with a swollen, irritated prostate and PSA levels that had us ordering a biopsy. Tests showed congestion that could have been prevented with something as simple as occasional masturbation. Research backs this up. A 2016 Harvard study found that men who ejaculate 21 times a month or more may reduce their prostate cancer risk by up to 33%. Why regular flushing clears out potentially harmful buildup and reduces inflammation. Neglect this, and you risk chronic prostatitis, a painful, stubborn condition that's tough to treat, or invasive procedures just to urinate comfortably. Your prostate is one of the most vulnerable organs in older age, and it needs your care. Masturbation isn't about indulgence. It's about preventing suffering and protecting your long-term health. This is about respecting your body's needs, not chasing pleasure. The next consequence, though, strikes at the core of who you are. Consequence 4, the emotional void that steals your spirit. The final consequence is the hardest to see, but it cuts the deepest, the loss of your emotional spark. I've sat with men in their 70s who describe feeling hollow, like they're fading into the background of their own lives. They avoid mirrors, speak softer, pull away from friends and family. They don't know why, but they feel less alive, less human. Masturbation isn't just a physical act, it's a lifeline to your emotional health. When you engage in it, your brain releases dopamine, oxytocin, and endorphins chemicals that regulate mood, reduce anxiety, and keep you connected to yourself. After 60, when life brings challenges like retirement, loss of loved ones, or isolation, that release becomes a critical anchor. Without it, you're more vulnerable to depression, apathy, and even cognitive decline. I had a patient, a 74-year-old widower, who stopped all sexual activity after his wife passed. He thought it was over for him. 3 years later, he was a shadow of himself, isolated, joyless, barely leaving his house. It wasn't just grief, it was the absence of those vital neurochemicals that once kept him grounded. He told me, "Doc, I don't even know who I am anymore." With guidance, he slowly reconnected with himself through small private acts of intimacy, and his spark began to return. This isn't about sex or lust, it's about vitality. Masturbation keeps you tethered to your sense of self, your confidence, your humanity. When you stop, you cut off a pathway to joy and self-expression. Society may tell you to suppress this part of yourself to grow out of it, but that's a lie. Your body, your mind, your spirit. They don't retire at 60. They still crave connection, expression, and life. The good news, it's never too late to reclaim that spark. Start small, once a week, privately, respectfully. Pair it with mindfulness practices, social connection, and physical activity. You're not just preserving your body, you're reclaiming your dignity, your warmth, and your place in the world. I've seen men transform from shadows to vibrant, engaged versions of themselves, not because they chased youth, but because they honored their humanity. This is about living fully, no matter your age. You're not done. You're just beginning to understand what your body needs to thrive. Gentlemen, your body isn't ready to quit at 60. It's ready to fight for you. Stopping masturbation might seem like a small choice, but it risks your sexual function, your hormones, your prostate health, and the very spark that makes you you. These aren't just side effects, they're life-altering losses that creep up silently. But you have the power to stop them. Start today with small, consistent steps to honor your body, your vitality, your humanity. You're not aging, you're living, and you deserve to do it fully. If this message hit home, type 1 in the comments to let me know you're in this fight. If you're skeptical, type 0 and share your thoughts. I'm here for you. Don't miss my next video, 7 Proven Habits to Thrive. After 70, dropping next week on Strong at 70. Hit that subscribe button, ring the bell, and join our community of men across the USA choosing strength, health, and confidence. Your health matters, your voice matters, and you're not alone. Let's keep pushing forward together. See you in the next one.